Experiential learning has been a great addition to curriculum from K through 12 and even higher education. However, over the past decade, the inclusion of service learning opportunities within experiential learning and that traditional undergraduate curriculum has really gained a lot of popularity. When we talk about service learning, let's develop a really good definition so that we understand each other. So we want to understand that it's a form of holistic experiential education in which students actively address human and community needs while also engaging in purposefully designed activities that facilitate student learning and development. So there are some key components that are within this is that we want to look at the reflection. We want to make sure that we have that in there. And that service learning can be anything. It could be actually embedded into any curriculum, whether that be language arts, science, or just self-development. And there are some wonderful benefits that come along with this. And one of the things is that we're going to help students to really identify and direct their personal goals through this exploration of themselves and their communities. And they're going to be able to start looking at and relating larger social issues to their lives, as well as preparing to participate in a democracy or even as an informed citizen. One of the greatest pieces is that it's going to link service with our academic coursework. So there is a lot of wonderful information about it, and I have included a source within the description of this video. So as we're putting together our service learning, we can use an 8-block model, and this was actually developed by Baldwin College, and this model is useful as a starting point for developing and designing our service learning project. And there are 8 areas in this model, and this is shown right here, and you can easily develop your own. You can see how easy it is as it's just a table, but you're going to be able to create your own block model outline and start filling in the blanks to get started. We need to be able or have 2 of these at least. And one is because we want to be able to brainstorm a little bit, and then the other one is we really want to be able to then develop those connections and formalize it as we move forward and we change them. And especially that we want to be able to investigate this 8-block process and use it as a visual guide for implementing the service learning components within the course. So our block 1 is called the project design. So regardless of our project that we choose, we want to be consistent with learning goals, and especially want them to reflect the learning goals that are used within the class itself. We want our students to be able to understand what we're going to be learning. And sometimes you want to look and actually investigate some kind of basic questions and brainstorm how you can associate these two. Next, on our second block, we're looking at our community partner relationships. So working with a community partner on a problem that's really important to them is very exciting for your class. And one thing I enjoy doing when using service learning projects is talk to my students and find out what they're really interested in. So one semester we worked with a company called Lara, and Lara, L-A-R-A, it's a learning and a reading academy that helps adults learn to read. Whereas another time our students were more interested in being more outgoing and involved physically, and so we used Habitat for Humanity. There are all kinds of things, but make sure that you really carefully plan so that you can really use the relationship that you have between your students, the community, and yourself in a very effective way, and to make sure that it does run smoothly. So looking at this third block, or this third step, we want to see how building community in the classroom is going to aid. And this is where we're going to learn how to work effectively as a team. This is one of the most desirable skills for going on into the work field. So we want to be able to really develop this now and give them a head start. So many learning services and learning exercises and projects are going to be team oriented, and we want to be able to work in some good work, group work, and include some skills and some components of team building. So make sure that you use the steps and skill development for group work as well as team building. Make sure that you've created a safe place for your students to take risk and to experience both group work and teamwork. And remember that many of them are going to be new to this opportunity. You're going to need to explain why and how teamwork and group work can be different, and especially how this particular assignment or project will be different from other courses. In our step 4, we're looking at our student capacity, and this is where we develop the students individually. So we're going to be able to work on the learning project, and we're going to develop the learning skills and the concepts and look at the learning goals. This is where we want to really look at learning goals as they are related to the individual students. One of the things I enjoy doing is the one-on-one interviews with each of my students and talk to them. If you have a very large class, you can do group well. And so instead of one by one, meet with them as a group, and you're going to be able then to pull out and see which student might need some more individual attention, especially if somebody is particularly quiet or shy or especially introverted. Looking at our 5th step, we're going to develop our problem statement. And this is where we're going to really work with our community partner. We want to look at how we can match our problem statement as a class to the problem statement of the service that we've provided. As I explained before, this is where in some classes I have used where we just do reading, or we've taught reading, because it was more in alignment with what interested my students and the problem statement, whereas in others we did Habitat for Humanity. Other things you can do is looking at the Humane Society. There are many opportunities, and they don't have to be big ones. As we move on to our 6th block, or our 6th step, this is project management, and there is a lot of information out there. There is tons of it, and there's going to be too much information to really be able to cover quickly in this video, but I want you to make sure that you can look out there and realize that there is a lot of work that needs to be done behind the scenes, and that is included in project management skills. Our 7th step is the assessment. The assessment is so important because we want to prove that not only have we met our learning goals, but we also want to show that we've learned something. So I want my students to walk out of this having developed something. One of my favorite things to use with this particular kind of a course or particular kind of project is reflections and using learning journals. As we move forward, let's look at block 8, which is that reflection moment. And this is that connection point. This is where we have learned. This is where we can actually energize our students to continue these kind of experiential learning projects and being more service oriented, especially as we've broken the barrier of not understanding or maybe being a little bit fearful. There are some wonderful opportunities, and we want to be able to really look and give them a experience where they can match some desires along with skills and careers. So we want to take advantage of this. And there are many different ways and several different tools that you can use for reflection. Lastly, let's look at a few of these benefits, and we've already started talking a few of them, but some of the greatest benefits for service learning include an enhanced opportunity for learning, and that happens both in our personal skills and the development of social skills. Students also are going to increase their knowledge of academic materials because they're going to have that knowledge in a hands-on, experiential nature. They're going to make real-life connections. We also are going to see an increased knowledge of community as well as themselves. Service learning is actually a form of experiential education that is going to support and encourage deep learning.